My name's Tilstone from FESTIVE Road, the consultancy on a mission to create better travel and meetings management. And today I'm in conversation with Jonny Fitzsimons from KAYAK for Business. Jonny, welcome.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Now, are you based in UK, in England, or did you come across the channel? Or?
No, I'm based in Zurich.
Oh, are you?
Switzerland, yeah.
I should have known that.
Our headquarters of KAYAK is in the US.
Ah,
so
okay.
I'm kind of like a sole representative right now with flying the European flag.
Well, you're doing a great job. I guess maybe it might be worth doing, before we start on kind of what it is you think travel managers need to be thinking about. I guess there's a lot of people don't know what KAYAK for Business is. So give us the 30 seconds insight.
So KAYAK is the world's largest meta-search site. And after 15 years of leisure, we're moving into the corporate space. We're creating a self-service platform which is really connecting the companies with the suppliers. We're a tech company fundamentally, but as our leisure experience, we want to bring that into corporate because we see the corporate scene as insufficient for user experience.
I think any time that we're seeing more tech into this space, brilliant.
Yeah.
And it shows ripe for opportunity. So let's move on to 2022 and beyond and the mind of a travel manager. What do you think they should be thinking about?
Well, look, I think they should be understanding a little bit more the developments in technology in this space. And specifically, like the rise of the API, which is connecting the travel managers directly with the suppliers. So that obviously that could be rental car companies, that could be hotel chains, but I think today I'm going to specifically focus on the flight suppliers, the airlines. Right? And fundamentally, whenever you can connect the two players together, you can really enhance that negotiation, right? You can enhance the procurement process a lot better and more dynamically. Okay, so first of all, you're looking at, say, the content piece. Okay, so if there's no middle person, then of course you're going to get unfettered content, but you can take it an extra layer above that. So you can have, say, dynamic pricing. Okay, and instead of, say, negotiating a fixed cost for a certain flight, is that you sit down with the supplier and you would say, let's create an algorithm which is a net benefit for both us, the corporate, and you, the supplier.
Yeah.
Okay? That you're both working together. And then if you progress that beyond the price fundamentals, what you could also do is create a corporate bundle. Okay? So, what we see is a lot of companies are coming and saying, we want to have Wi-Fi included in all of the tickets we book. Okay? So instead of it just being an extra ancillary, every single person's opted into this specific corporate bundled fare for that company. And yeah, it's something which it's not just the price, you can go more dynamically into creating that.
So there's a number of things here that I think are playing to this piece. One is that buyers seem more interested in the downstream chain that they've got going on and the way that content flows through. And I think for a number of reasons, NDC has driven that willingness to kind of get into that depth. But also, the change in relationship or potential change between the airline and the corporate as well, and creating more alignment with each other. How realistic is this though? And the reason I ask you that is there's sort of a lot of conversations about, in an ideal world, API works. Yeah. But in reality, how complicated is it and how realistic is it?
Well, I think you should separate these conversations into the booking path, right, and the post-booking modifications. Okay. And of course, we saw Finnair, for example. They're saying they're going to use NDC to actually power their .com
removing
site.
Edifact.
Yeah. This is fantastic. Okay, but I think generally where we're finding a lot of the companies or a lot of the airlines are at is that it's the post-booking modifications. And what we want ideally to have the corporates, that the ability is for the user to go on the airline's site, the airline's app, go to the front desk, and everything is brought back through that order change notification on the NDC path. That there is still the most difficult part.
Being worked through,
to reconcile that whole thing. And so obviously we're trying to implement different back-end technology in that space in order to give people the connectivity into like a central source of truth that is fed back to the corporate, to the OBT and any third parties like the duty of care expense, for example.
Yeah.
So that for sure is the final part. I'm very confident that we can create an omni-channel booking experience, not just NDC. I mean,
APIs in general, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be done through the schema, but of course, it's fantastic if it is.
It's a standard. Right. Hopefully, it helps with.
But I mean, as KAYAK, it's our modus operandi is APIs,
yes.
right? So the same thing goes for the hotel chains and the rental car agencies. We'll pretty much take whatever the API is, as long as it has the best user experience, that functionality.
Yeah. We're seeing this elsewhere. So if I think, for example, just take ground transportation as an example, right. We're seeing tech platforms develop. I think of Get and Free Now, for example, Six Mobility, developing in a very particular segment. You seem focused on air at the moment, but it sounds like you've referenced all sorts of different content types earlier. So you've got that wider view and you want to bring all the content into the user interface?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is, I mean, whenever you're, say, talking to the procurement team or the travel managers, right? Fundamentally, it's like a car and an engine. Okay, so if you've got a lot of this content coming through, this NDC content, these bundled corporate fares, dynamic continuous pricing, you name it, you still need to have fundamentally a good user experience, a good UI for people to understand this. You know, we supplemented, for example, with Route Happy. It gives people more of an understanding of what these ancillaries actually look like.
Which is a rich content engine, effectively,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And so this is where, and it's the vice versa. Then you can have a beautiful UI, a beautiful user experience with limited content. Yeah. Right? And so that's where the designers need to keep up and be very closely coordinated with the rise of the API, basically.
So when we ask you about 2022 and beyond, I guess a bit more specificity when I say how possible is this? Is this a 2022 thing or is this a 2023? There's a bit more work to be done. I don't mean just KAYAK for business, I mean in this whole API space.
Well, I definitely think you just look at the IATA NDC progress tables. It's a very good indication of where we're going with that, to be honest. Okay. It's great. We focus on North America. I think obviously with the return to corporate travel with North America, that they're more focused about developing out these functionalities. Yes. They see that potential there, and maybe they're better resourced. But fundamentally, I think it's going to be somewhat more geographical. I think it's going to be the US and then Europe, and then potentially, there's obviously outliers like Qantas, for example, fantastically developed. But yeah, it seems to me more of a 2022 it seems perfect for North America.
Okay, so we should keep our eyes focused on that market and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Jonny, thank you so much for joining us today. It's lovely to have somebody who's just entered our space, brings a fresh perspective, travel and technology together. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much.